Hello everyone, we are going to be reviewing Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the sequel to the movie from 2018, Into the Spider-Verse, and I'm just going to say it, honestly, I thought this was even better than the first one, and I love the first one. I thought it was funny, it was beautifully animated, I loved the characters, and Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy. I just thought it was an absolutely spectacular movie, and this one, I don't know how they keep topping themselves, but like this just, took it to a whole another level. The animation was like even more beautiful. It was, the story was even better. It went a little darker, went a little, more intense. It was kind of like what you want to see in a sequel, and I mean, it was just absolutely spectacular, and I'm just gonna say it up front, I really cannot recommend this movie enough. I guess I'll briefly go into the story. I can't really go too much into the story without getting into spoilers. Basically, I guess what you can kind of tell from the trailer is that, Miles Morales, of course, has been Spider-Man for like a year and a half now, and he finds out that there is this, like, society of, like, all these different spider people from all the different universes, and that's kind of about as much as I can go into. We also see in the trailer that there is this new villain that he faces at the beginning of the movie called the Spot, and he's kind of like this goofy guy who, kind of like wants to be taken seriously, but nobody really takes him seriously, and he kind of, goes on this journey of like trying to make himself, trying to make Miles afraid of him, and because he doesn't want to be just like, because when you see him at the beginning of the movie, like he kind of looks like he's just kind of like the starter villain, the villain that just kind of like, is just kind of there just to set up the movie, and but then just kind of like, he's not that big of a threat, and he kind of. They kind of play with that trope a little bit, where the Spot is kind of like, well, I don't want to be just like that guy, I want to be like a real, like, threat, and he kind of, tries to become more scary. Like, I love when they do that. That's something that these movies do so well, is kind of like playing with the tropes that you expect from, all the Spider-Man movies, and there's a lot of, love for the original Spider-Man movies. There's a lot of, like, Easter eggs that people are really gonna like. And they also kind of like when to, kind of poke fun at some of the tropes of the original Spider-Man movies as well. And then jokes are just so funny. And this movie is proof to me that the multiverse is an idea that can be done well when it's not written by talentless fucking hacks like Michael Waldron. I mean, you guys should know by now that I'm never gonna pass up an opportunity to shit on Michael Waldron in the Loki series, because, like, this is what I wanted those movies to be like. This is what I wanted to see in the Loki series and in Multiverse of Madness, where, like, the multiverse is a way to explore these characters. It's not just a crutch. It's not just, like, the central focus of the entire movie. It's a way for us to learn about the characters, which is what the focus of the story should be, even though, like, there is a decent amount of time dedicated to, Miles learning, more about the multiverse and all the different, like, spider people, like, it's still, like, there's still a lot of focus on, his family and his friends and his relationships, and, like, and that's the interesting, because that's stuff I want to see. I don't want to listen to, like, the last episode of Loki, where we spend, like, basically just, like, half the episode listening to just, like, this uninteresting, like, exposition about the multiverse and how it started. Like, you just don't give a shit. Like, you want to know, like, it's the characters that I came for. Like, that's what I want to, that's what I want to see. And I really wish that, the MCU had writers like the ones working for this movie that, actually know how to put an interesting spin on this and aren't, just using, like, the idea of the multiverse as, like, a crutch for their shitty writing, because they don't know how to write good characters. And yeah, like, something else I love is that we actually do spend a lot more time with Gwen Stacy in this movie, which I really like. I like, getting to know a little more about her and getting to know more about her backstory. And something else I really love, especially just about the art and the animation in this movie, is just the different color palettes they use and like all the different worlds that they go to. Like when we actually start off the movie in Gwen Stacy's universe, like there's a lot of like pinks and a lot of blues, like even like the police lights, you know, even though like we know they're supposed to be like red and blue, they look more like pink and blue to kind of like match, you know, the color scheme of Spider-Gwen. And then when we go to, you know, Miles' world, there's a lot of like reds in the color palettes, and we go to a universe that's based in like an Indian Spider-Man, and there's a lot of like yellows and all like kind of like saffron colors, and like I just love how all these different colors, like they just work to, you know, focus on like the character that's, you know, focused in on that particular universe, and it's just so creative and it looks absolutely beautiful. Like, and I love especially like, so there are scenes especially, and then kind of like, you know, the more like toned down moments and more quiet moments where we have like one character just talking to another, where like the actual like background kind of fades away, and like the character, like the background is just kind of like these different like color like palettes, like these patterns, just to kind of like focus on the character's face. And I love all that. I love it. It's just so creative. It's especially too, like there's at the beginning of the movie there was another villain where it's like a version of the Vulture, but he's from like this like Leonardo da Vinci universe. So like the only color he has is like the, you know, the kind of like the yellowish paper from like the, you know, the Leonardo da Vinci sketches that you see, and you can see like, you know, like kind of like, I think it's supposed to be like Latin writing or something, like along like the sketches of the Vulture, and like then you're like, you can just tell like each of the different art styles, they just put like so much, you know, effort and so much research and time into like studying how to make each of these different art forms, and like it's just so beautiful to look at. And I mean, my God, I'm just fangirling right now because I absolutely love this movie. And you should know it is you should go into it knowing that it is part 1 of 2. So it does end on a cliffhanger, and there are no mid or post-credit scenes, which I think kind of makes sense, because, you know, it is, you know, the next part is coming out next year, so it does end on a cliffhanger. I feel like that would be kind of weird if they had post-credit scenes, but just know that going into this. And thankfully, we only have to wait a year for the next movie, so don't have to wait like another 5 years to get the next Spider-Verse movie, like we did last time. And yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure like what else to say, because again, I don't want to like go into, you know, too many spoilers. Because there are a lot of surprises. Like I said, it does kind of like, you know, get a little darker than the previous movie as well. I guess if I had to go into, you know, downsides, I guess the only thing I could say is that it is very fast paced. Like they are like throwing like a lot of jokes at you and a lot of information at you all at once. I know for some people it's just kind of like not really their thing. I mean, for me personally, like I never had a hard time following, you know, what was going on, or, you know, like the fast pace never bothered me. And there definitely are still like, you know, a lot of, you know, slowed down moments where you have like characters just kind of talking to each other, so the movie does kind of like, you know, slow down and take a breath. So it's not like the whole movie is just, you know, one thing after the other, but it is a good chunk of the movie. I know for some people that can be a little overwhelming and it's kind of like not really their thing. So if that's you, you might not enjoy this movie as much as I did. But I mean, I would still definitely just go see it for yourself. I really would recommend this movie, especially like, you know, if you're looking for a movie to take your kids to, you know, don't waste your money on this, you know, Disney live action remake bullshit. Like this is the stuff that like, you know, should be, you know, is worth your money. That like and like, you know, movies like this just like they make me angry that like writers and artists and animators aren't getting paid more. Because, like, you don't get stuff like this without, you know, the work of the animators, the artists, the people who are, like, the writers, the people who are, you know, researching the different art styles and, you know, researching all the different, like, spider characters and their backgrounds and putting all this effort into it. Like, you know, they deserve to be, you know, fairly compensated for the work that they're putting, because like my god, it shows in you know, when you get movies like this. um and all, and the voice actors are all so great. Like there's some really, like, you know, heart-wrenching moments in this one as well. Like, you know, Miles and Gwen Stacy, and like they all just do such a spectacular job. And I mean, I just can't think of one thing that I didn't enjoy, or one thing where, you know, I was getting bored. Like the only downside for me when I was watching this movie was, so the theater that I went to was actually like pretty much sold out. So the only tickets they had left were like, they put me in like this separate box, like way above everybody else. So like I had to like literally like lean forward in my chair just to be able to like fully see the screen. So that kind of sucked. I really don't know why they even have tickets like that, because I don't really see why anybody would want to watch a movie like that. But I mean, like, as soon as the movie started, like, I was just so engaged that, like, I kind of pretty much just, like, forgot that I was in these, like, shitty seats, because it didn't even really matter. And honestly, I did kind of wish that they were gonna put me in those seats. I wish they'd put me in for when I was watching the Little Mermaid remake, because I was completely alone in this separate box, so at least I would have been able to, you know, like, rant without disturbing anybody. But no, I mean, like I said, like, the movie was just so engaging that, like, it really, like, didn't even bother me, because, you know, and hopefully, you know, I'll be going home, visiting home. I have a break from school in a little bit, so I mean, I don't know if I would be able to go see it again in a theater that has actually, you know, decent seats. But I would like to do that, you know, at least once, just to be able to get like the full, real experience of seeing this movie. Because it's just so spectacular, and like, I know I'm just like fangirling, gushing right now, but like, you just have to go see this movie. It's so great. Like, please go see this movie. It's absolutely worth it. And if this doesn't win Best Animated Picture, like, I'm gonna be pissed, honestly. Like, it is easily the best movie that I have seen this year so far, and like, I really don't know if anything is gonna top it. So yeah, it's funny. It's, you know, the animation is great. The action is great. It's just, I mean, what else can I say? Just, you know, you really, just please go see this movie. It's so great. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So I don't know when I'm gonna be, I guess, like I said, I am going home, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get reviews out for the movies that I do see when I go home. But I will try to get back to you guys as soon as I can. And yeah, thanks for watching, and please, I'm serious, go see this movie.